What is marital rape according to your opinion?
Okay, this topic of marital rape, it has been quite common in the Western country, especially like a developed country like England, America, or some of the European countries. And there are laws related to that is there. But in India, of course, in the last 1 week or 10 days, a lot of discussion about this is going on. And first, let's understand what is marital rape. Uh, as you are already aware about, the rape is basically having intercourse with the female without her consent. That what we normal term we call it rape. And the marital rape means like here all about when a two married couple, when the people are like the husband and wife, but when husband is forcing himself upon the wife without her consent or forcing her for the intercourse or a sexual relationship, so that called as a marital rape. And I hope so. This is a very simple to clarify you what is marital rape altogether.
Great, sir.
Yes.
To hear you for these kind of views. So, sir, how this case has been come up in Delhi High Court?
Yes, like this case has come up to Delhi High Court as a form of PIL, like a public interest litigation. Um,
Okay.
for a legal viewer, they are very much aware about what is PIL. Of course, when any kind of case is filed or any kind of petition is filed in the normally in High Court or Supreme Court in the form of PIL means it may be by the some organization, some social working organization, some associations, or for the welfare of the public. That is basically the agenda which is related to the public. So same way, this case also came to Delhi High Court in the form of public interest litigation, and it has been filed by the two organizations mainly. That is, one is RTI Foundation, that is called, mm, and another is basically All India Democratic Women Association. Okay, so this is the these two organizations, and maybe earlier also there was a discussion on this matter, but this came in the form of PIL, and the bench has like the Justice Rajeev Sikdar and one more, I think so, Justice Sankar bench has accepted this PIL, and they are doing the hearing on this. They have noticed in this matter to the government of Delhi as well as I think so Union of India as well, and they have appointed amicus curiae. So now I think so you understand this
Great.
petition came to Delhi High Court uh, in the form of PIL. Of course, maybe some group of the women are
Mhm.
fighting for their rights or more about the women rights kind of things. Yes.
Great, sir. So, sir, will be this a right to criminalize it? It's this is a right to criminalize it.
See, like when we go by the first we have to understand that like the always the law is not absolute wherever or any part of the world. Law always improves upon with the time circumstances and because as I say you if you take the perception of if you read the jurisprudence basically what happens like with the time to time as the society improves like then what happens like then there is a law takes its own formation like when in India was in the process of those times of rajas and all you just see the law has been defined by the wisdom of the king or his ministers and all those kind of things and punishment is also defined accordingly so there as I say like mm, the law has gone in their own ways like and so it's like it's a wisdom of the society that as it improves society improves the same way the law always have a ground to improve now coming to the basic question which you asked me like
Yeah.
is it right to criminalize it now
Yes,
you
sir.
just see like as a very good observation came from honorable high court like of course I want to inform you also, like this PIL is talking about the two article, one about Article 14, that's talk about the right to equality, Another article that's talk about Article 21, that's the right to personal life and protection of life and the liberty and personal freedom. So now you just see, like here, when we talk about the marital rape, it means we are talking about like a woman also have, of course, she has a right to say no. That is very much there. Even she is in a marital relationship, because categorically there is a section 375 which defines that, like, if a woman is of above 15 years, and if she is married, then if she has a intercourse with her husband, whether with the consent or not with the consent, because then, but if she's into a relationship, she is married already. So in that case, what happened? Like her complaint into such nature will not be considered as a rape. So now that's the Article 370, Section 375, that gives the one limitations, and which may have a little advantage to the man. But here we need to, when we are trying to criminalize it, this is a very, very important aspects we need to understand, the social fabric of the country. Okay, because in the developed country, there are, because number one, we see the level of education is very high. The like percentage of the literacy or education is very high, and they have a very, very clear understanding what is the meaning of consent and what is not the meaning of the consent. But like in India, you just see the kind of social fabric we have, and where we have come up with a, we are coming up with a age where where the woman has a basic thought process has been given, like where the pati parmeshwar kind of things, where, like, or we have other thought, like, we call it like a the man and woman, like, they call it like ardhangani, like, they are the half of,
Yeah,
like, we use the word like a better half. So we have
yeah,
a very, very respectable society, and we have our most of the deities are the women, basically. So we had a lot of respect, and our social fabric in the same way. But what happens, like in some time, basically, or in the transition, what happened? The sex as a subject became a taboo in the Indian society, and what happens, like and women are not very open about this, basically. Of course, in the city, things are entirely different, and things are changing. But that transition, we are still into that transition phase. And what happens, like it's very difficult, and same way the education, because I don't know how many men or what percentage of men in India even they are familiar with this word like marital rape. Of course, the rape they are maybe familiar about, or they have a Hindi word like a balatkar. But I don't know, like even this marital word, rape, a term itself, they may not be familiar with, basically. That's number one. Second thing is very, very important, like a level of education, level of, because we are gaining on the literacy. So let's say we are still, I think so, I don't have a clear idea on the data, but I think so. At present, our literacy percentage is around 70%. But again, that literacy itself, like it means 30% even they are not literate. So they don't know, in that case, what happens, understanding the meaning and how to they express themselves. So therefore, what happened, the social fabric in such a way, what happens, like it becomes some very difficult to define or understand sometime, uh, like, who is crossing the line, and whether really, okay, whether the man is educated enough, or he has been trained enough, or he has been guided enough in such a manner by the family or an atmosphere, where he need to understand that, before I go for my final act or any act of intercourse or making relationship, he really need to take a consent. And the another part is that, like, as I tell you, basically, city things are far better because people are having a better education level, better understanding, and it may be more clarity to understand each other. But when we take on the village side, or or as I tell you, where the education percentages are comparatively less, then what happens? There are a lot of shyness at the part of the woman is there, and it's become, and they are not very vocal about their consent, and it become very difficult. So the question to find whether the person is ready or not ready. So what happens? This is like overall creating a debate all over India. And the second thing is that, yes, the discussion has started. It's a time, but still, I feel this is my personal opinion on that. Like as a country, we have still more to work on and a long way to go. Basically, because even the sex education is still we have not introduced in the if we say even not in the higher schools, a lot of schools I think so. The government has not introduced it to a level. We of course in the science we teach them the biology, but basically the this has not come into the curriculum as far as my knowledge is concerned. So in that case, what happens this issue of consent and making because technically, yes, most of the men in India after the marriage they think like okay, like if they are married, then they have a right on their woman or their wife, and they can have a they can make the relationship whenever they want. But eventually, as I say, it's a complete a new dimension. We have to look into this matter into 360-degree. And when I'm talking about 360-degree, it means it has to be seen from how the society there has to be what is the social fabric altogether, what is the value system, okay, what is the value system going on between a man and woman about this is a matter, this is about the taking consent or a sexual act. Second thing is that when they're getting into a marriage, and how they perceive this eventually, because we have made a conditions is our condition is all about uh, when we are talking about we have given the age limitation to the marriage that is there. Okay, the person or the woman should have this age, or a man should have that age that is there. Like we have fixed the age for a man and the woman, but as far as the we have not fit a condition for their level of education or the kind of education they have gone through, or about their sex educations and all those things. They have no awareness. There is no training program. There's nothing like that. So there are lakhs of people or crores of people are they are getting married, and maybe a good percentage of people, they are not very much aware about we need to take a consent into this, or and that's what the reason, because they have a it's a they think okay, if they are in the marriage, then sometime of course they take it as a right. But on the other hand, as I say, in the morality in the city, you will find a lot of people are having a good understanding, and they make it better. So until we have not a clear study of our until we don't have a clear study about our social fabric. Number two, the value system we are carrying, and when we will be making such law, then what happens? It will invite a lot of unwanted litigation. It is not about I am completely against it, but there are other way, basically, there are because law is there, like a domestic violence and all, and this can be taken into the categories of that, basically, and can be brought it further. So therefore, and one of the very a dangerous part of it, which I want to tell you, like one side, when the honorable Supreme Court has recognized this a living relationship, and after that, what happens? There was several cases. In fact, I have fought some cases myself, and where there are a lot of cases of pretext, rape on the pretext of marriage has come up. What happened? Like a lot of people, a lot of boys and girls, they choose to stay as a live-in. They started living as a live-in couple, basically. And what happens? At a time when maybe okay, they were living, though somebody has promises to marriage, and maybe they find they are not capable enough, and they wanted to part their ways. then it has been found a lot of complaint is coming where the girl is going and to the police and saying that like there is this is a rape in the pretext of marriage basically. So now what happens like where are the now what happens again there are several litigations has come up and all police stations are loaded with such cases, and end of the day it has been found 70% cases are or 80%, 70 to 80% cases are the false cases. So same way what happens like if you see about this in the marital rape, the consent and not the consent, because it's all about mood swings. Like today maybe she gives the consent and next day she's not willing. So then what
Yeah.
happens? What will be the evidence? Is what will be the medical, or on the maybe on the humor side of that? Maybe a man will always, as we all move with the wakalatnama, man will move with the consent form. Okay, before he goes to the bed, he should get a consent form signed, and then he can go to the bed. So therefore, a lot of complication will come up. Yes, like I will look into that. Like the society need to be more and more educated about these facts. Basically, yes, the woman has a right to say no, and but as I say, bringing into the category of a marital rape, I think so it will be little early to get into this. But this is my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. I know still the matter is pending. Let's see the honorable judges are how they're taking the matter. But this is what exactly I look into.
Great to hear. Great to hear, Mr. Lochan. So, which kind of government actions can take?
No, you just see the government, as I say, like I have already put my suggestions on that. Like, there is amicus query and all, like the government, as I say, like, as I heard, yes, there are opinion has came, as they say, there are other laws are available, basically, where the woman can complain about it. Again, as I say, see if she can go under the category of domestic violence that is there, and she can, as I say, because somewhere, if because this is something, between the sheet, as I tell you about the uh, uh, social fabric, in India, this is something which is not like those developed country. This is a topic is still under the bed sheet, actually. That is there, or you can say under the sheet. So that's the reason it's a, and when a woman bring this to the public domain, then what happens like what is going to be her future of relationship, that's like it raises a lot of question. So same way what happens there is already a provision of domestic violence is there, and this can be also brought into the part of that case somebody has force on him, maybe, or husband, even being a husband, but he tried to force on him, or he tried to do something without her consent. That can be one of the area. But like declaring is that immediately as a marital rape, and then what happened? The court will be, and then it will be very difficult for a society to go on. There will be a cases will be flooded with basically, and sometime will be a abuse of process of law. So therefore, what I feel like as I say, yes, as a government, they can create a awareness program about this. They can bring sex education to the higher education system that is there, and it's or especially where like when maybe starting from high school, maybe 11, 12 standard. That's a very very important thing. And same time, there can be a lot of public relation efforts and all. And for these such complaints and all, if there can be a counseling centers and all, like and maybe a special categories can be made up, like instead of because counseling and awareness program is going to be a very very important thing. And uh, and as I say, when it comes to again the and the women cells can address these issues that is there, and they can make a husband and wife more warning, making understanding the situations and all. So therefore a lot of measures can be taken by the government, because at present, as I tell you, as I say, in Delhi we are discussing in the legal circle, but as I say, to bringing into a public domain, it has a first lot of homework is required. A lot of work need to be done by the government to make them understand. And India is a huge country, and there are, as I say, we have 29 states, and there are cultures of the various society. There are a lot of value systems that is there. So therefore, immediately you cannot uh, force or put some kind of this kind of social or this kind of legal restrictions. and therefore what happens, like slowly we need to build up awareness program on this, and then when the right time comes, then court can take a course on that. That is there.
Great to hear, Mr. Rajeev Lochan sir, for giving a great ideas on this topic. So thank you so much for giving valuable time and patience on this Rising
Thank you.
Bharat special episode
Thanks a lot.
debate. Yeah, you're welcome.